I know Minus One just came out, and that movie was a banger, and Godzilla X Kong, The New Empire, is just around the corner, but trust me, this one hits different. The New Empire has a budget of over $100 million, and Minus One had a budget of $15 million. How about a Godzilla movie that only had a $1 million budget? You may be thinking that this movie is going to be terrible. Google's summary of this movie is that Godzilla meets a giant cockroach and a big black chicken sent by seatopians. See, like, what? This is Godzilla versus melatonin. Or is it Megalon? It doesn't matter. And a lot of people love this movie, but an even bigger majority of people hate this movie. That's why you're here to decide whether it's a slap or should get thrown in the fiery pit downstairs. Godzilla gets a bad rep for being goofy monster movies, but I'm here to settle that. Just kidding, this movie is the one with the long dropkick. The movie starts off with a kid riding the most insane boat ever seen. Where can I buy that? All of a sudden, there's an earthquake and oh boy, here comes Godzilla. The ocean starts to light up and smoke pours out of the water. Here he comes. Two guys, I'm assuming they're his parents, shoot a rocket toward the kid and they bring him back to shore. Man, this looks amazing.
Oh man, the boat got stuck in the world too.
Where's Godzilla? The scene just ends like that. Did I just get edged? They return home to find their door already open. A bad guy knocks one of them out and the kid runs up to him to give him a hug but gets neglected, and that's probably gonna lead him to need therapy when he's older. Another bad guy enters the stage to try and take out the other guy, Hiroshi, but he's too slick. He should try to hit him with that floating cube. He got pushed over. He gets back up to chase after the bad guys and they drive away, so he hops in a car to chase after them. The bad guys hit him with that PK fire out the window, setting everything on fire and get away. The other guy, Goro, checks his laboratory, and this is our first glimpse of God. This guy right here is the best thing to ever enter the Godzilla universe. That robot is called Jet Jaguar, but let's call him our Lord and Savior because he saved this movie from being bad. Alright, I may be stepping over a bit. The kid finds some powder on the floor. Guys, want to know what this movie is missing? It's not Godzilla. It's a welding montage. Shout out to all my welders out there. Hey, that boy's looking pretty dapper. He looking clean. Where's Godzilla? Our god gains consciousness and starts to waddle. Meanwhile, the kid tries out a motorbike but ends up getting stopped by the bad guys in the goofiest way possible. They make the kid get in the car and return him home. At home, Hiroshi and Goro are seeing what Jet Jaguar can do. And is that a Five Nights at Freddy's reference? The kid rings the bell and is forced to go inside at gunpoint. Right as he turns the knob, they shoot him with no remorse. Man, they are ruthless. They go in and kill the others. This is a really dark and serious movie. They go over to the radio to contact the Sea People, and the Seatopia leader tells everybody that they're going to war. They do some dancing rituals to wake up the melatonin gummy and tell it to destroy all of humanity. I guess that's the giant cockroach that Google said. I can see it. I'm still waiting on the giant black chicken. I want some deep fried KFC. Goro and his son are tied up in the back of a metal container. Reminds me of the time I tried to be part of the live audience in Drake and Josh. There was no live audience. They start getting tossed around and we realize they're in a truck. Inside the cockpit of the truck, two random people are being paid to dump the container in a river. They break free but still get tossed around like they're a... One of the bad guys puts a floppy disk in the computer and is now able to control God. This film is amazing. What the crap is that? It's a bird. It's a plane. No, it's... Hiroshi talks to the bad guy and he turns out to be a sea person, and the reason they stole the robot was to create an army. Hiroshi pulls a Black Widow and starts duking it out like they're fighting over who can hoover the most schneef. This is an intense scene for a Godzilla movie. Hiroshi is now the one interrogating the bad guy, asking where the other two are. And all he has to say is container and truck. No location. Apparently that's all he needs because he leaves and drives to the most adorable tiny yellow car.
911, what is your emergency?
I lost my dog.
Okay. Do you know where your dog is?
Truck. Container.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Conway Twitty.
Hiroshi ends up getting followed and makes a U-turn to try and get away, but now a motorcycle is following him as well. He takes a Mario Kart shortcut and everyone follows along. What is this goofy Godzilla movie? Hiroshi drives down a 90-degree angle and those cars aren't built for off-roading. This is the type of road your friend tells you to drive down when he says, trust me, I know a shortcut. The motorcyclist does a sick trick above the car, then falls over and gets oozed on, while the red car crashes through a shed. Megalon comes breaking through Earth's surface, ready to mess up some people's credit scores, and here comes our flamboyant god flying in circles, not because he's confused, but because he's played Elden Ring. He's going to read that boss like a book and get Megalon to follow him. This is literally the opening scene of Star Wars. Over the radio, the two drivers hear about a monster resurfacing and are now held at gunpoint to complete what they were paid to do. I am once again asking, where is Godzilla? If I don't get my lizard within the next couple minutes, I'm going to be upsetty spaghetti. They start swerving like a kid playing Grand Theft Auto for the first time to discombobulate the bad guy. And this has to be the funniest scene I have ever seen. I swear to God, this is a real person. He falls down hard. That's not a puppet or a stuffed dummy. That's gotta be a real human. They get to a bridge and are about to drop the container into the water, but hear Megalon screech and stop everything. Smoke starts coming up and we see Megalon. Hiroshi shows up in the clown car. I don't know how he knew they were there. The drivers ask him for help, but Hiroshi counters the request by asking them to save the container first, so being the nice civilians they are, they hijack his car. He hops in the truck to save the two, and Megalon is a literal child. He's splashing the water around like he's in a bathtub and ends up breaking the dam and getting washed away because of it. Megalon gets up and now it's Megalon versus the truck. It's no longer Godzilla versus Megalon. The container gets released and Megalon hits it, which sends them to the moon. That's it. They're dead. Next thing you know, Hiroshi finds them easier than I can find Waldo, and they all look up to see Jet Jaguar. They tell Jet Jaguar to contact Godzilla. Finally! The first mention of Godzilla! It's about time! So much time has passed, I feel like I'm about to turn into ash! Goro goes to the military and tells them that his computer can override Jet Jaguar's controls to go find Godzilla. Jet Jaguar turns around to see a helicopter and he's ready to attack, but Goro tells him to stop. Jet Jaguar, being the good obedient robot he is, stops. They play rock, paper, scissors, and Jet Jaguar throws paper, and Goro is a helicopter. Goro tells him to find the big stinky lizard looking thing, so he glides over to the island and we see Godzilla! Finally! He's here! This feels like seeing an old friend from high school you haven't seen in a long time. How's it been, buddy? Oof, you had some pretty rough sequels? That's alright. Let's get you some screen time in the best movie in the franchise yet. Jet Jaguar does some sign language to make peace, then dips. Godzilla follows, probably because he's bored and wants to wreak havoc on some cockroach. In the distance, Megalon starts throwing a tantrum in a field and uses its unicorn horn to rain fire across Japan. The kid goes to a model plane store and nobody's there, so they just steal a plane like it's nothing, as if there's no consequences. If this was medieval Japan, that kid wouldn't have hands anymore, so he wouldn't be able to communicate like Jet Jaguar. They return home and Hiroshi throws a rock, breaking the camera. The bad guy goes to check what's going on and the kid throws a plane at his nose. There's so much blood flowing from his face. I can't believe that tiny toy could cause that much damage. That toy is lethal. They break in and start beating up the guy, and then the kid comes out of nowhere using a Minecraft block to Tarzan swing towards the enemy to knock him over. Goro comes in and they try to take the guy away, but hear Megalon screech, so they decide to run. Uh-oh, the seatopians are contacting someone named Gigan. Is this finally the big black chicken? The kid runs outside and yells for Jet Jaguar, but gets no response. He tells Goro to ask Jet Jaguar if he found Godzilla, and before he can finish his sentence, Jet Jaguar hits him with that awesome thumbs up and flies over to Megalon, and it laughs at how small he is. Hey. He's average sized. Jet Jaguar takes a Viagra and grows to match the size of Megalodon and clocks it on the side of the face for talking smack. In return, it uses its horn to headbutt Jet Jaguar's shoulder, and that's gotta hurt. Megalodon flies in circles like the penicillin man right before he takes another victim. Meanwhile, Jet Jaguar just stares at him like I normally do until he performs a trust fall. The three run up that hill and see Jet Jaguar getting his tushy polished by the giant bug. Megalon uses its drill hands to dig underground, and Jet Jaguar uses his flashlight eyes to see where he could be, but that's not gonna do anything. Megalon swoops up from underneath him and plops Jet Jaguar on all floors. He's always ready.
I know what you mean by that.
Megalon constantly comes up to grab his toes. Here comes the big black chicken, and the kid tells the two that that's Gigan. How does he know what that is? The BBC does some TikTok dance moves to the cock, and Jet Jaguar often looks at the camera in disbelief. He tries to fly away, but gets bombed. No! Jet Jaguar, I want you to live! Jet Jaguar gets up and gets beat over and over by the two. This is sadder than SpongeBob and Patrick almost dying in the SpongeBob movie. Nah, nothing sadder than that. He continues to get his salad tossed by the two and gets yeeted away like they're playing a game of hot potato. Right before Jet Jaguar is about to get what happened to that one guy at Red Lobster, Godzilla shows up. Finally, he's here to save the day! It's about time! Just kidding, there was no guy at Red Lobster. Just a shrimp crisis. The Tooth Fairy could have gotten here quicker. A Prius could have driven here quicker. Lucas Nicole from the hit movie game Ant Bully could have gotten here quicker. There's 15 minutes left of the movie, and what could he possibly do? Jet Jaguar repeatedly gets kicked in the crotch, and what are these goofy noises in the background? Boing, boing, boing. Godzilla hits them with that Street Fighter combo and knocks both of them over. But wait, there's more. He uses a tree to swat them away. Godzilla kicks them like they owe him money, then waddles his way over to the other one and gets flipped over. Jet Jaguar throws a grenade at the cockroach and blows him up. Then Gigan flies over to Godzilla, slicing his shoulder open, and in return uses his heat ray to make the bug fly out of the sky. And now it just cuts to Jet Jaguar just slapping the bug's little ass and kicks it right in the balls. Hey yo, Jet Jaguar, you're never supposed to hit there. He doesn't care. Godzilla hits the chicken with an overhand hard enough for it to run away in fear, and Megalon comes back to give Godzilla a little off the top. Now he's crumbling Godzilla's cookies. He acting like that goat. They tussle until Megalon calls for a timeout, so Godzilla looks over to the chicken kicking Jet Jaguar like a kid done playing with their toy. Gigan gets Jet Jaguar in a headlock and is about to do what happened to the other guy who worked the fish fryer at Long John Silver's, but thankfully Godzilla saves him. Megalon pisses fire around the two, and they're now completely surrounded. They try to run away, but the monsters shoot explosions all around them, creating a ring of fire. They're now trapped and helpless. The monsters start taunting them by slapping their butt. What on earth are they going to do? I have an idea. What if they just majestically float away? That's exactly what they do. Should have had a better imagination. Godzilla shoots a heat ray, but he literally just went... Jet Jaguar cuts the wires that made Gigan fly and holds him back, breaking their arm in the process. He lifts him up, throws him in the air, and gets roasted like a turkey. Now Megalon is left defeated on the floor. What are they going to do to him? Prank him, John. Jet Jaguar holds him up, and this is the moment you've been waiting for. Godzilla gets ready to set up the kick scene around the world. He slides miles across the floor, never losing any momentum, and kicks Megalon right in the titties. Then he goes for it again. He's zooming across the battlefield. This move should be legal in the UFC. Could you imagine that? Godzilla lifts up Megalon by the tail and slams him on the ground, forcing his legs to break. Megalon flies away to dig himself back underground. He doesn't want to deal with their crap anymore. Godzilla and Jet Jaguar stand there staring at each other for an uncomfortable amount of time. Then they go to dap each other up. Godzilla heads back to Monster Island. Then the three walk up to their god, and he returns to his normal fun-sized self, but not without performing some Yu-Gi-Oh moves first. They tell Jet Jaguar to go home now. Your work is over. He agrees and walks into the sunset. He's walking like he's ready to tell mom that he pooped his pants on the school field trip. What's your opinion on Godzilla vs. Megalon? Leave it in the comments below, because that was definitely something. That was like if Power Rangers and Godzilla had a crossover, but it didn't have any of the Power Rangers. In all seriousness, this movie goes crazy on mute during some scenes. This is a fun movie to have on in the background and randomly look up to see what's maybe a real person tossed down a cliff, or have someone almost die from a model plane hitting their nose. Just from those two scenes alone, this movie deserves to have a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. That sounds stupid, but hear me out. I know it's not a Hollywood movie, and the movie itself isn't an actor or actress, but people can stomp on it like how Megalon goes boing, boing, boing. Rotten Tomatoes rated it a 38% with an audience score of 34, while IMDb rated it a 4.8 out of 10. I'm rating it a 6 or 7 out of 10, because it's just a fun movie. It doesn't take itself seriously, and why would it? It's got the sea people from South Park. Please remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe, because I love making videos for all of you. And if you haven't seen my last video, it's about one of the coolest movies from India. It's jam-packed with action scenes, like there's a guy beating up a crowd of thousands of people with a 3-foot stick. And that's just the first couple minutes of the movie. Thank you for 781 subscribers, and make sure to leave a comment because I want to get more involved with my audience.